Hello, Rob Cook here. I'm in Ketchikan, Alaska right now. I'm sitting on the balcony of my cruise stateroom in my cruise ship, and we're at port. So I wanted to do a piece right now about how to find real estate deals. Now, it's a broad subject, and there's a whole lot of different aspects to it, and we'll get into a lot of detail over time in all the different methods, strategies, ideas, theories. But bottom line is, no matter what market you're in, no matter where you live, no matter what economy you're in, you can always find deals. It's not easy. Nothing's easy that's worth doing. And if it was easy, there'd be no opportunity for us. So that all sounds like a lot of platitudes and generalities, but the fact is that you can't be specific. All real estate is local, as we talked about, and every situation is different in time and place. Real estate is not a science as much as it is an art. Okay, so what I want to just give a quick kind of a high-level 30,000 foot overview here of doing so, finding properties, finding deals, prospective deals. Okay, we'll get into how to analyze them and whether they're good deals or not later. That's a whole different story. But first, you got to get them kind of into your funnel and find out if just ones that you can start looking at the numbers and deciding whether or not they even make any sense. Okay, so the big picture is an attitude. Okay, and the attitude is that, let's start with number one. Okay, as a typical real estate investor, a small investor like ourselves, you do not have to get 10 deals a week or 10 deals a month or even 10 deals a year. You only have to get one deal whenever on your time frame, because you can make $1 million on a single deal. I have on a number of them, and it's, I'm talking about a rent house now, not some big apartment building or whatever, but a single, regular, typical rent house. I've made over $1 million a deal. So what I want you to start thinking about is that you have advantages and disadvantages, just like anyone does in any business, in any space, in any market, in any area, any economy. Being a small investor, you're more flexible. You don't have the demand or the pressure to produce on a high level, like a lot of deal flow. You also don't have to be able to, you usually don't have a lot of partners involved, if any, other than your spouse perhaps, that you need to deal with on making decisions. So it's very flexible, self-directed, and you're able to make your own pathway, work at your own pace, and also to the extent that you can, based on your available resources of time, money, whatever. All right? So the philosophy that I want to impart onto you is that get rid of any notion that you can't do it, or that I could do it because I'm special or whatever, because I'm not. And I've done it many, many, many times in every market. I'm still doing it now, today. I didn't do it just 20 years ago. I'm doing it now. I've bought, I think, 16 deals or 17 deals, units this year alone, in 2018 already. And that was mostly in the first 2 months. So it's not something that requires any kind of, perfection or all the stars and planets being aligned. It just isn't that kind of a thing. Yes, it's easier when the market trends and the market conditions and your situation and the competitive environment or whatever you want to use as metrics are in your favor, of course. And that'll come and go. Just like in 2007 was a bad time to buy real estate. It was the top of the market after a very long run. And 2009 was a very good time to start buying real estate because nobody wanted to buy it and everybody wanted to sell it. They thought it was going to go to zero. Panic. So between 2009 and 2000 now, it's been on another tear, recovering, and a lot of opportunity. A lot of money was made during that period. I bought at least 40 units, I think, during that time period after 2011. So it's a good time now. I don't believe we're at the top of the market like we were because of the financial situations in 2007. And although interest rates are going to start creeping up, that's actually having the kind of what some people would call an unexpected result of making people jump into the market and buy more. And that's creating more competition for the properties instead of less, because they're trying to get in and get their rates locked in before the rates go up. Makes sense. So there's always offsets, and there's always good and bad, pluses and minuses to any condition in the marketplace as well as anything else. So, I mean, I'm not doing it because I don't invest too far away from home, but I'm here in Alaska, and you can look over my shoulder here. This is Ketchikan. It's a little town, on the west coast of, kind of British Columbia, but of course it's in Alaska. And I guarantee you, I could go out here and in 12 hours time, and I don't know anything about this market. I haven't even pulled it up on Zillow, but if I went out and went into this neighborhood, in this market, in this little town area, I would be able to find some deals before 24 hours passed. I would be able to find some real estate that would make me money. And I don't know anything about the market, so I'd be reticent to just jump in. But if it was my neighborhood, my area, my market area, my specialization area, an area where I have experience and have knowledge, I'd have a big advantage because I have an attitude that can do. And you know what? If I don't find one, so what? So what? I'm not going to get fired if I don't get a deal by tomorrow or the next week or 2 weeks from now. That's just not the kind of pressure that you want to have on yourself. And you don't have to. If you do, it's your own fault. So this is not a get-rich-quick business. Never has been. I mean, I've never said it was. I've made a lot of money. I've gotten rich, but it wasn't quick for the most part. In fact, I can't think of a single example where I made more than $20,000 or $30,000 on a deal just like overnight because I bought it so well and was able to flip it or something. That's the exception, and those are, it sounds like a lot of money, but $20,000 or $30,000 profit on a deal. Like I bought a HUD property here in February or March. I closed on it just a month ago, and I am renovating it. Just a HUD single-family house in Wyoming, actually, and I haven't yet even decided exactly how I'm going to dispose of it. I've got options. I can keep it as a rental, very profitably. I can fix and flip it. I can renovate it to be a homeowner sale, or I can wholesale it, meaning I fix it up some, got it all proved out, because all the utilities are turned off when you buy a HUD house. So a lot of buyers are scared that there's going to be big, bugaboo, costs and expenses they can't identify because the utilities are all off. So I took that risk, and of course I'm pretty good at it, so there wasn't any problems at all. Literally the power is still on. It's crazy. So I've got options. I could sell it, wholesale it, fix and flip it, keep it as a rental for myself, among other options. Okay? So that house there is one I just got. It's in this market, in this world, in this environment, everything's the same. I mean, it's not like I did it 20 years ago, which I have many times, but that was real. And I guess the point here I'm trying to make is never say you can't do it. It's not because I'm a genius or I'm special. Yes, I have a lot of experience at this, but I've mostly only been a part-time investor for my entire career. Got my real estate license in 1978. Didn't have a job, didn't have credit, didn't have anything. And I got my real estate license, and then actually that same year I bought my first investment property. No money down, VA assumption. I think I made $18,000 on that deal. But I held it for about 7 years. I even financed it when I sold it to a seller finance the note. So they assumed the VA again, my buyer did, assumed the VA again from me, which I had assumed. And then they paid. I gave a note for their equity. So I held back a seller's second for their equity, and that paid off. They actually paid for my down payment on my first house with my wife. So there's a lot of ways to do this stuff. I just want you to have some confidence, and don't be, I hate to say this, but don't be whiny little bitches if you don't get a deal on the first day you go out there. That's not the way it works. Sometimes it does, and if it does, take it as a gift that it is. But it's not the business. The business is having a process and a system, or many different ones, that are strategies, that are systematic ways of looking for deals, finding deals, and having the deals come to you. You go into the deals, you find them, whatever. There's a whole lot of ways to do it. From doing online marketing for a funnel system to just direct mail like they used to do in the old days, which of course the funnel and online marketing is replaced in a digital manner. And knocking on doors, driving for dollars. I've done all this. I could do it today. I love doing it, actually, because finding off-market deals, that means they're not listed for sale. There's not a sign in the yard. The seller hasn't announced to the world that they want to sell it, but they do. And a lot of times they don't even know they do. I kind of do. Then maybe they're an out-of-state owner. Maybe they inherited the house and they're broke themselves, and the house is all crappy because it didn't get maintenance for 25, 30 years. Old person died, out-of-state relative inherited it. They're broke. They can't fix it. It's in poor condition, so the real estate agents locally will not list it for sale. Or maybe it's got a bad roof or something and a bank won't even lend money on it. So all of a sudden, the number of buyers out there, the big universe of buyers, has been narrowed down to this. Only a little bit, only a few kinds of buyers. That's the ones you want. Then you track down like a detective, and there's lots of ways to do this, and you go contact that out-of-state seller. And you may be the first person to ever contact them. You may not be. They may get a letter a week from people bothering them, So what? You may be the one that contacts them just the day that they say, screw it, I'm selling it, okay? And there you are. So you can solve those people's problems because they got a problem. They got a house that's going to possibly even get, sold at a tax sale because they're not paying their taxes on it because they're broke and it's a burden to them. They don't know where to start. They don't have any money to fix it up, paint it, let alone fix a roof or anything more important than that or more costly. So they can't list it for sale. And they basically, I don't know how else to say it, they got a turd that won't flush. They got a problem, okay? You can solve their problem and you can make a lot of money because they'll sell it to you 50 cents on a dollar and be glad to get it. Because next week or 2 weeks from now or a year from now, they may lose the entire equity, 100% of it, to a tax sale or some other kind of government foreclosure. Who knows, right? Repossession. So the idea is there's dozens of ways to look at this, but none of it matters if you're not going to have a can-do attitude and just say, look, I don't care what the market situation is. I know it sucks. I know it's hard. I know it's competitive. I know there's lots of big, we buy houses, any condition type guys that are out there with quite an ad budget and a sophisticated marketing funnel, to attract, these kinds of motivated sellers to contact them, and then basically try to talk these buy your house guys into buying their house for them cash. Quick, down and dirty, wham. And they'll sell it for 50 cents on a dollar or less. I've done them that way. So it's not, that doesn't make it easier because those guys are out there because there's a lot of money to be made and they're doing it. And a lot of those people are going to overreach, as often happens, and it's probably happening right now, and they're going to have too much inventory and they're going to end up losing on a lot of those. It's just what happens. They grab too many, they get into too many deals, they spread too thin, they get too highly leveraged, and then bam, a little bit of a setback, and they are caught holding the bag sometimes. Then you buy them from them for the same thing they paid for them or less to bail them out. So it happens. There's always ways, there's always stories, there's always pathways. So just don't be a whiny little bitch and say, oh, I can't do it. You could do it, Rob, but I can't do it. No, it's failure mentality. That's not the kind of mindset you want to have, because I can tell you, if you just commit and learn some basics and commit that I'm going to do real estate and I'm going to get a deal, and if I get one every year or one every 2 years by just, trolling and searching in my spare time, then you're going to be a winner. In fact, you'll be a multimillionaire if you do it for 20, 30 years like that and buy one a year. I don't know how you couldn't be a multimillionaire. I've made $1 million on a single little rent house. I've made $500,000-$600,000 on little ones, just ones that were unbelievably inexpensive and cheap, but I just got them, I held on to them, I rented them out, let the renters pay for them over the years, got a cash flow off of them, they get paid off, and then all of a sudden I decide to sell them or I keep them as a rental. And you can create a substantial monthly recurring income that you can never outlive with rental income properties as your retirement or just cash flow. So anyway, want to leave you with that, and we will resume this. I'm going to post this, and you guys come back with your questions again, and let's just get a discussion going. We started it this morning, and we'll continue.